Okay. So in the last class, we were talking about static local arrays and automatic local arrays. Today, we will see an example of the effect of this word static when we use before declaring or defining any array. And then we will see that how we can use these arrays for searching and sorting purposes, right? So let's get started. Now this static and local variable, we already seen that whenever we type this keyword static, okay, in front of any local variable, what will happen is the array that is actually defined as static will get created and initialized only once in the beginning of the program, and it will remain during the entire execution of the program. But please remember that it can be only accessible within that particular function. Okay, it is not destroy, but you cannot access it. Okay, because it is local array. Okay, the scope is within that particular function in which it is defined. Okay, so we will just see one example, and then we will see that what is the use of this kind of array. Now there is this performance tip which is mentioned, and this will let you know when to use automatic local array and when to use static local array. Okay, so the function in which automatic arrays where the function is in and out of the scope frequently, then you have to make use of static array so that it is not get created each time when the function is called. Now what do you mean by this is this: suppose you are calling a some function. Okay, so there is some function. If you see, this function is get called again and again, and within this function you have used one array. Okay, so this is the array that you would like to use. So generally, when this is happened, that the scope is coming out of the function and going inside the function again and again, in such cases you can use the array, make this array as static to increase the performance. Are you getting my point? Okay, because unnecessary the time will get wasted in initializing, allocating memory, and all of those things, right? So generally it is advisable to use this static thing in such cases when the scope of the program is again and again going in and out of the function where the array is defined. Okay, so let's see one example and the things will be more clear to you. So let me just go to one program that is there. Yeah, this is the program, and it will actually show you what is the difference between static array and what is the difference between static local array and automatic local array, and how actually it will change the output of the execution. So there are few points that you have to keep in mind, okay, while dealing with static local array. So when we talk about static local array, how it is different from the automatic local array, the first difference is static local array will not get destroyed. Okay, it will remain during the program execution. During the program execution, it will remain as it is. Second thing is, it is automatically initialized. There is no need to initialize the static local array. It will automatically initialized with zeros, with all zeros. Okay, in case of automatic local array, if you will not initialize the array, it will print garbage value. But if you will not initialize static array, then it is automatically get initialized with all zeros. Okay, and one more thing is, so it will remain and it will initialized only once. It will remain during the program execution. This is the first point, and it will initialized only once in the beginning of the program. In program beginning. Okay, so let's see what happened. So this is the program that will actually tell you the difference between static and automatic arrays. So in this we have made two functions. Okay, in the first function is a static array init. In this we will actually define static array. There is another function in which we will define our normal automatic local array. Okay, and we will see the difference. Now in the main program, what we will do is we are calling these two functions, static array init and automatic array init, two times. Okay, and that too one by one. So in the main function, first we will call static array init, then we will call automatic array init. Okay, so this is the first call to each of this function. In the second call, we will again call static array and again call automatic array. Okay, so if I would like to explain you this, what is happening inside the memory, okay, or what is happening about the function frame, stack frames that we have seen. So this is the stack frame of main function. In the memory, this is main. Then what happened, then when this particular line number 12 will get executed, there is the stack frame of static array init, right? When this function will over, the execution will come to automatic array init, and hence this particular stack frame is deleted. And then in place of this, there is a stack frame of automatic array init, right? Once this line number 13 get executed, what happened after this? Again, it will make this stack frame of static array init, and then once line number 16 get over, it gets returns, then it will make the stack frame of automatic array init. And once we are done with line number 17, then this entire stack frame is deleted. Okay, and we will again come to the main function. So this is what happening inside the memory when we are calling the function again and again, right? Again and again the stack is created and it get deleted, created, deleted. Okay, on the function call it gets created, when the function returns it gets deleted. All right, now let's see what happened inside these functions, right? What is written inside static array init and what is written inside automatic array init. Okay, so inside static array init, what we did is we have just make an array 1 of size 3, and we write static keyword in front of this. Means we have declared this particular array to be static. Okay, then what we are doing is this, inside this function we are printing the contents of array 1. Okay, so the loop will go from 0 to 2, and what we are doing is we are actually printing the contents of array 1. I hope you understand this line very well by now. Then what we actually did is this, once we are done with printing the content of array 1, we will actually modify and then we will output the content of array 1. So what we are doing is this, we are printing the content by increasing the value, each element value by 5. Are you getting my point? We have increased the value by 5. Okay, this is what we are doing. Same thing we are doing in automatic array init. But the difference is there is no need to initialize anything here, because all the elements are initialized with 0. When once the function call for the first time, all the elements are initialized with 0. But in case of automatic array, we have to actually initialize this array. So we have initialized this array by 1 to 3, and then we are doing the same. We are first printing the content of array 2, and then we are printing the content of modified modified content of array 2, and in this also we are incrementing each element by 5. Are you following me here, what actually this code is all about? Yes, or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in this code there are two user defined function or programmer defined function. One is static array init, in which we have defined the array 1 with static keyword. Okay, and then we are printing the contents of that array before modifying anything and after modifying anything. Same we are doing for automatic array initialization, but in this we initialize the element with 1 2 3. We are printing the output of this particular we are printing the content of array 2, and then we are printing the modified content of array 2. Okay, and these two functions get called two times. Okay, so first see what happened when it is called for the first time. Okay, so first call to each function. Now let me show you the output actually. Yeah, this is the output of first call to each function, right? So when we come inside our first function call, so first function call is static array init. Okay, this is the first function call. So once this function get called, what happen is this. So this is the function which is get called. We are printing values on entering static array init. This message will get printed. Okay, and then we are printing all the values, initial values. What are the initial values? This line shows the initial values. What are the initial values? What are the initial
Zero.
values in each array? Yes, please speak out.
It's zero, ma'am.
It's zero.
Zero.
All elements are zero, right? And if you have noticed, we have not initialized it anywhere. We have not initialized static array 1 with 0, right? Why? Because it is automatically get initialized with all 0 when the function is called for the first time. Okay, and then what happened in the second line? What we are doing is we are changing the value, we are adding 5 to each element, and therefore all the values will become 5. Okay, similarly when our automatic array init get called, automatic array init get called, this line will get printed. The value is 1 2 3, and you all know why it is 1 2 3, because we have initialized it with 1 2 and 3, and then we are adding 5 to each element. So 1 plus 5 6, 2 plus 7 plus 5 7, 3 plus 5 becomes 8. Okay, this is what happened when the both these functions get called for the first time. Now let's see what happened when the function is called for the second time. When the function is called for the second time, the values of static array is 555. Why it is 555?
Because we have increased every element by 5.
Very
We
true,
added 5.
because we have increased the value by 5 for each element. And you remember, static array will not get initialized, will not get created again and again. It will created only in the beginning. So all the changes you will make during the execution of program will remain intact. Are you following me here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and therefore second time the values is 555, and when we again increase the value by 5, it becomes 10 10 10. Okay, but this is not true in the second case. See, in case of automatic array init, this is the second call for automatic array init, and the values are again initialized with 1 2 and 3, right? So if you see this particular part, only this particular part, it is same for both the cases. Whether it is first call or second call, there is no difference. Initial value are 1, 2, 3, and we have increased the value by 5, so it becomes 6, 7, 8. In the second call also, initial value are 1, 2, 3. We increase the value by 5, it becomes 6, 7, 8. But in case of static, in the first call, it is initialized with 0. In the second call, it is initialized with 5. Okay, so the value remains intact. So this is the difference between static local array and automatic local array. Now, if you have any question in this particular thing, you can go ahead and ask. After that, we will start searching and sorting on array.
Ma'am, if the static array is already initialized to zero, then in the for loop, why we are writing I equal to zero? If we don't write it, then also it will perform.
In which for loop? In this for loop? Sorry, static. In this for loop you are talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
This is not for initializing or anything. This is just printing the elements, right?
Okay.
Hmm. All right, so I hope you understand this concept. Okay, so accordingly, please make use of static keyword, okay, before array. Now, one more thing, we have covered, arrays, and we have covered function. Let's combine these two and let me show you how we can pass arrays to the functions. And then we will see how we can use searching and sorting, right? So when you would like to pass array to the function, how you have to do is this. You just have to mention name of the array without the brackets. Okay. So for example, this is the array which you have defined, hourly temperatures. This is the array and this is the size of the array. Okay. When you pass this array, when you would like to pass this array in the, in some function, just mention the name. Just mention the name. Once you mention the name, the entire array will be accessible to that particular function in which you are passing it. Okay, so this is the function call. There is a function called modify array. This is a function call, and in the function call, what we pass, we will just pass the name of the array without any bracket. Okay, rest parameter depending upon the requirement we can pass, but to pass the array, just pass name of the array. Okay, and yes, so now here I would like to introduce one more small concept, that is parameters pass by value and pass parameters pass by reference. Okay, till now whatever we are doing, whatever parameters we are passing through functions, it is actually parameter passing by value. Okay, so for example, let me just tell you one example. Suppose we are again having a function and we will pass say 5 in this function. Okay, what is the definition looks like? Definition look like something int a, right? Okay, or let me just make it little more clear to you. uh, so suppose we are having a equal to 5, and then we are calling a function and we are sending a to this function. How the function definition look like is this function. Here we will write suppose int b, something like that. Okay, and then we will do something with this b. Even we can write int a, there is no option. Okay, but this a is different from this a. Okay, I hope you understand this point. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this both are different. So let me just keep it b for simplicity. Okay, what it will do, it will make a local variable. This whenever the function the control came here, it will make a local variable b, and the value of b will become 5. Okay, because we are passing 5 here. If you do any changes in b, it will not get reflected in a. Why it will not reflected in a? Because this is what happened in the memory. So there is some location where a is stored when the function get called. At some location b is stored, and it is just the copy of this. Okay, this is the copy of this. If you make any changes, if you make this 10, it will not affect your variable a. Okay, and this is called pass by value. We are just passing the value. We are making the copy of that particular variable, and then we are making changes in that copy. This is called pass by value. Are you following me here? We are just passing the value. We are not passing the variable itself. Okay, in case of pass by reference, we will cover this in detail when we learn about pointers in C. But what do you mean by pass by reference is this? In pass by reference, we actually passing, we are making some variable, and this variable is actually pointing to the original variable. If you make any changes here, it will actually get reflected in the original value. Okay, and the thing I would like to mention here is this: arrays to function, passing arrays to function is actually passed by reference. Okay, so whenever you pass array in the function, whenever you pass array in the function, actually the actual array will get passed. Okay, so for example, here we are having hourly temperature array, right? And you already know that, in memory it is something like this. This is the size of the array, suppose index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, right? Whenever we pass this hourly temperature, you know what happened. So in the definition of modify array, suppose we will write int b. Okay, and since we are passing one more parameter, so it is something like int size or something like that, right? Int size. Okay, now what happened, this b is actually pointing to hourly temperature. This b is actually pointing to hourly temperature. If you make any changes in b, it will actually reflect it here. Okay, so by default, passing the array is actually passed by reference. You are actually sending the address where the array is stored. Okay, now let's see the example and the things will be more clear to you. Okay, before that, let me see. Okay, so the name, whenever we pass the name of the array, it is actually the address of the first element of the array. If you have noticed that when we are doing scanf in array, right, we will not generally put this ampersand sign. I told you, right? Whenever we have learned about the character array, that is a string, we generally don't put this ampersand sign. Why we are not putting this ampersand sign? Because the name of the array is actually the address of the first element of the array. Okay, it is the address from where the array is started, right? So starting address of the array is passed. Since we are passing the starting address, the called function knows precisely where the array is stored. And since the function knows where the array is stored, that can be accessible to that function as well. Okay, now let's see the example here. Okay, so in this, we will first demonstrate that this name actually store the address. Okay, so these three statements are equivalent. These three statements are equivalent. And let's see how we can print the address. Okay, first we will see the program and then we will see few things here. This is a very small program. In this, we just make a character array of size 5. We define an array of size 5. What we are printing is this. We are printing the value of array, address of array 0, and address of array. Okay, this is what we would like to print. And for address, we use print p. Print p is actually print the address of any variable or address of any element. Okay, this is the conversion specifier which will print the address. So therefore we have used %p. Okay, and when you will print the address of this location, see, the same thing will get printed. This is actually the memory address where the array is stored. Okay, and this is in the hexadecimal format. Address is always printed in the hexadecimal format, right? So we have seen decimal format, decimal where it has digits from 0 to 9. We have also seen binary format where we have either 0 or 1, right? 0 and 1, only two digits are there. There is one more variation called octal format, which is actually 8 base. So base of decimal number is 10, base of binary number is 2, base of octal is 8. It has digits from 0 to 7. And there is one more variation called hexadecimal. Hexadecimal. Base of hexadecimal is 16. It will take 0 to 9 digits. Okay, so these are 10 digits, then A to F characters. Okay, so in all, it is having 16 characters or 16 digits to represent any number. Okay, so therefore you can see this F, F, and all. So memory address are stored in hexadecimal format. Any question till here? Any question? Hello?
No, ma'am, it's clear.
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
great, great. Right. So percent %p is used for printing the address. Okay, so whenever you would like to print the address, please use this specifier. Now, this particular statement will show you that all the values, whether you will write simple array, this is also the address of the first location. If you write address of first location, it is also same. If you write address of array, it is also same. Okay, so all these three things are actually represent the address of first location. Okay, so when we pass this inside the function, we are actually passing the address. And whenever you pass the address, memory address, it is called parameter passing by reference. You are referring to that memory location. Okay, so I have just introduced the concept of parameter passing by reference. We will cover this concept in detail when we, go a little further and when we will see the concepts of pointers. Okay, so for now, by default, variables and a particular element of the array is passed by value. But if you want to pass the entire array, it is passed by reference. Making sense? Okay, right. So yes, we can pass one element also, and see, this is how it looks like. Okay, so the definition looks like this. You just have to define int b and bracket. No need to give size, because automatically it will take the size when the function call is there. Okay, accordingly it will set the size. Even if you want to give the size, you can give it. Okay, no problem in that also. Okay, so I think this is clear. Any questions you can ask? We will just see one example of this modify array. And yes, yeah, so this is the example. Let's see what happened. In this, we will make a function modify array. Okay, in that function, we will change the value of this b. And you will see that once the function is called, it actually changed the value of the original array as well. Okay, and this will show you that actually this is passed by reference, not passed by value. Okay, so for now we will just see this first function. Okay, in the second round we will see this second function modifying the element. For now we will just see modify array. Okay, now let's see the function. We are having a size, a symbolic constant size 5. Okay, we will make a array of size 5. These are the initial values of the array. We will first print these values. Okay, so this is the original values in the beginning. Okay, so what this loop is doing, it is just printing the value of array a one by one. Okay, after this printing, we will call our modify array function. We will call our modify array function, and once we come out of this function, again we will print the value of array a. Okay, and we will see whether the value is changed or not. Now let's see what is written in modify array function. This is the modify array function. This is the modify array function. What is written here is this. So we have seen that, in the definition, I just write b. B is actually pointing to array a of the main function, and we will run a loop. So j is a local variable to this modify array function. We will run a loop from 0 to size. Okay, size is also coming from the main function, and then we are incrementing each element, or we are multiplying each element with 2. Okay, now this operation, you think that we are doing the operation on b array, but actually it is modifying the content of actual array, the array a of the main function. Okay, now let's run the program. Right, so we have seen only till here. Okay, effect of passing entire array by reference. The value of original array is 1 2 3 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the value of modified array is 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. In each of this printing line, if you notice, we are printing A. You know, before calling to modify array function, we have printing A, and after calling the modify array, we are again printing A. And in both the printing, you can see the difference in the output. And why this difference is there? Because modified array function has actually changed the value of original array. Are you following me here? Any question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so this is only true when we are passing the array. Okay. In the second example, let's see, whether we can modify a particular element. So this is the second function prototype, where we would like to modify one element of the array. Okay. And hence what we will do, we will pass only one element. So we are first printing. So let me just remove this highlight, and I would like to highlight this. So the value of a of 3, we are printing before the calling of the function. Then we call modify element, and we pass only one element. We are not passing the entire array. We are just passing a of 3. And then we are again printing the value after coming out of that modify element thing. So when we are passing one element, one particular element, then this is passed by value. Okay. Now let's see what happened in this function. So I'm just remove the highlight from here, and let me highlight this function. We are talking about this. In this, a local copy will make E, and the value of E is equal to A of 3. Okay, whatever value is passed from there. And then we are multiplying E by 2. Right? So this is the modified value. So we are doing printing inside the function, and we will do printing outside the function also. After calling this function also, so there are 3 printing. This is the first printing of A of 3, which is before calling the function modify element. Second printing is done inside this function, and third printing is done once we return from this function. Okay, now let's see the value. These are the 3 printings. So these 2 printing are from main function. Okay, these 2 are from main function, and you can see, even if we are modifying the value of that element inside the function, it is not affecting our original value, because this is passed by value. Okay, so I hope this concept is clear to you. Pass by value and pass by reference. Till now, whatever we did, whenever we learned about function, we already did pass by value. Each time normally it is passed by value. Okay, it will make a copy, and the scope is only within the function. But when we actually pass the array, it is passed by reference. We can pass by reference. We can do pass by reference, with the variables and one element also. But that is a little advanced concept that we will see when we cover pointers. Okay. But by default setting is this. Any question till here? Yes, any question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, one more small concept I think I can mention here is, but anyways, okay. So there is this one small thing called constant. Okay, but maybe for now we can skip this. Okay, just forget about this. For now, this is enough. Later on, we will see. Okay. Now let's have a look at sorting of array. What do you understand by sorting? What do you mean by sorting?
Arranging and increasing or decreasing, something like that.
Right, very true. Whenever some data points are given to you, if you are ordering them in either ascending or descending order, this is called sorting. Okay, and sorting is very, 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 very important concept in computer science. Each time, always you will see sorting this, sorting this, sorting this. Okay, whenever you study your data structure and algorithm course, two important things will be there: searching and sorting. Okay, so sorting in computer science is very important concept and it is used everywhere in computer science. Okay, now let's see that if this particular array, if one array is given to you, how you can sort it. Okay, so we will see very simple sorting algorithm that is called bubble sort. The performance of this sort is maybe poor, but we just want to see the concept of sorting in this case. Okay, along, using array, using 1D array. Okay, now first let me explain you what do we mean by sorting, and specifically we will talk about bubble sort or sinking sort. Okay, both are same actually. Now first let me give you an example of this sorting and then we will see the actual code. Okay, suppose I am having an array of elements. So I am having, suppose, this elements. Okay, say 5 elements. Now what do you mean by bubble sort? What is the actual output? How we can sort this particular elements in ascending order? The output should be 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, right? This is the expected output, right? If you want to sort it in ascending order, this is the expected output. Now how to do it using bubble sort? Let's see. Bubble sort algorithm says that, we can go pass by pass and we will bubble up the smaller elements towards the beginning of the array, or we will sync the higher element towards the downside of the array. So in this, what we will do, see, first we will look first two elements. So this is, we are talking about pass 1. In pass 1, what you have to do, you just have to look two consecutive elements each time. Just compare these two elements. If the second element is smaller than the first element, just swap it. Okay, so just swap it, and rest everything will remain same. Okay, so what actually we are doing, we are comparing first two elements. If the second element is smaller, because our expectation is the smaller element will be towards the beginning of the array and the bigger element is towards the end of the array, so we will just swap it. Okay, if suppose this is not the case, if the if if the element is like this, then we will do nothing. Okay, we will just go to our second iteration, but for now let's consider this example. All right, so we have actually switched this. So in the first round we are talking about pass 1. Inside pass 1, in the first round, these two elements get switched. In the second round, we will just look at the second two elements. Okay, now again the second one is smaller than first, so we will just switch it, we will just swap it. In the third round, we will look at these elements. Okay, so in the first round we have seen 10 and 9. In the second round we will see 10 and 8. In the third round we will see this and this. Again we have to swap it. Then we will have to look at this, and in the fourth round we will swap 6 and 10. Okay, so after pass 1, this is the scenario. Okay, we have placed the highest element at the end of the array. Okay, therefore it is also called sinking sort. So you can see, visualize it as we are actually sinking the bigger elements towards downside of the, towards the bottom of the array, or we are bubbling up the smaller elements towards the top of the array. Okay, and therefore this algorithm is known as bubble sort. So this is pass 1. What will happen in pass 2? Let me show you. In pass 2, we actually have this array with us now. Again we will do the same thing. We will first compare the first two elements. First two elements, the second element is smaller, we will switch it. the array looks like this. This is the first go inside pass 2. In the second go, we will see these two elements. So it becomes 9, 6, 10. In the third round, we will see these two elements, 8, 7, 6, 9, 10. In the fourth round, we will see these two elements, 8, 7, 6. Now see, here we will do nothing because the second element is greater than the first element. So we will write it as it is. This is pass 2. After pass 2, you can see the biggest two elements are, at their place, at their right place. Okay. So each time what will happen is this. In each pass, one element is in its right position. Are you following this algorithm?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that is very nice. Now let's see, let's run pass 3. Okay, let's run pass 3. So I am just making this pass 3. Okay, so let me start. So whatever output of pass 2 is 8, 7, 6, 9, and 10. Again, we will compare these two elements. We will switch it 7, 8, 6, 9, 10. Then we will compare these two elements. We will say, okay, 8, 9, 10. Then we will compare these two elements. It will remain as it is. We will compare these two elements. Again, it will remain as it is. So after pass 3, you can see three elements are in place. Okay. Similarly, what happened in pass 4? In pass 4, these two things get switched. Right? So let me draw that as well for the completeness. So we have 7, 6, 8, 9, 10. What is the name of this algorithm?
Double sort.
Bubble shot.
Bubble sort.
We will compare these two elements, 7, 6, 8, 9, 10. Then we will compare these two elements and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We will compare these two, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this is the final output. So after pass 4, okay, we will get the final output. So how many pass you have to run? Number of element minus 1. Okay, why you have to do this? Because see, in each pass one element is in its right place. ठीक है, तो last में क्या होगा? The last element will automatically in its right place, right? So the number of pass required is 1 less than the size of the array. Are you following me here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And within one pass, how many comparison you need to do? How many comparison? Again,
minus 1.
or size minus 1. Why? Because each time we are comparing two elements. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Okay. So if there are n elements, n minus 1 passes are required, and within each pass, you have to run a loop for n minus time to compare two consecutive elements. Okay. And this is the simplest sorting algorithm that you can have a look at. Now, can we talk about the code of this? Let's see the C code for this.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So let's go ahead. Yeah. So this is the C code. In this, we have taken as array of size 10. Right. This is the initialization part. You all know. Now, in this, we need two variables, right? For looping, for counter, two counter variables. One will show you the pass, right? And the second, you need that within one pass, you have to run that one more loop for n minus 1 times, right? So you need two counter variables. And when you want to do the swapping thing, you need one temporary variable, hold or temp, anything you can name it. Okay, so these are the variable we need. Now what we are doing here is we are printing the value of original array. So it will actually print these values as it is. Then we will write the logic of sorting, or specifically bubble sort, and then we will again print the output of the array. Okay, and while writing the bubble sort, let's see this logic. This is the logic. There are two for loops. The first
Yes.
for loop, yes, questions. Okay, the first for loop is for pass. Okay, and this pass will go from 1 to size. Okay, so actually this is less than size, so it will go from 1 to size minus 1. Okay, and this inside for loop we are running from 0 to size minus 1. So actually this will become size minus 2 because size minus 1 is written. Okay, so the loop, anyways, you can set this variable as per your requirement, but both the loop will run for n minus 1 times, where n is the size of the, or number of elements in the array. Okay, and now please see, pass we will do from 1 to size. Okay, fine. Inside each pass, what we will do, we will initialize this variable with 0. Okay, because we have to see first index 0 1, then index 1 2, then 2 3, then 3 4, then 4 5, so on so forth. Okay, so therefore we have to initialize this with 0. And what we will see each time, if the element at a of I is greater than element of a of I plus 1, okay, 0 and 1, suppose in the first case, we will swap it. And I hope you all know the concept of swapping. We will put this element into some temporary variable, and the value of ai become ai plus 1, and then ai plus 1 become whole. This is the swapping concept. This actually swap a of I with a of ai plus 1. Okay, and this swapping will occur only if the number which is written to the lower indexes is greater than the number which is written at higher indexes. Okay, and once you are done, all the array is sorted. Any question in here? So this is the output. Any question? Yes, please. If there is any question, please go ahead, ask. Is the bubble sort clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It is.
This is exactly same as I explained you, theoretically. The same thing we are doing using loops.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Other loop is to compare consecutive elements, and then if the first element is greater than the consecutive second element, we will swap it, otherwise do nothing. All right, now one more concept. Okay, if you remember, we have seen this mean, median, and mod.
Yes, ma'am.
So in mean, median, mod, you need to sort the element, right, to find the median and all. Sorting is required.
Yes, ma'am.
So what you can do, rebuild that program, and you can use the concept of bubble sort. Just write this entire concept into one function. Okay, and then to this function pass the array. It will actually sort the things. Okay, all right. So this is what sorting is, and it is very useful concept. You can use this sorting, just make the function for sorting, and then you can use it anywhere, anytime in any of your function. Okay. One more thing, there are many more, much better ways to do sorting, but this is the simplest way that you have to know. Actually, rest of the techniques which will actually perform faster than bubble sort, we will see later in, some different courses, maybe data structure and algorithm. Okay. Now this is sorting. Now what is searching? Suppose you want to search a particular element in the array. Okay, how can you do that? Suppose in this particular element, in this particular array, I would like to search the existence of 12. What we can do? Any input from your side?
Compare to each element.
Very true. What we will do? Okay, you want to search this 12. What we can do? We can write a loop. That loop will start from 0. Okay, so suppose I becomes 0 and it will go till I less than size. Okay, and then you have to increment I plus plus. So this is a loop, and inside this loop what you will do, you will compare each element. So if a of I is equal to 12, then what to do?
Print
Print
element
I.
something.
Print element exists, something like that. Okay, and then what we have to do? Then what we have to do?
Break.
Right, break. You have to put break, otherwise it will go on and on. Okay, so if ai is equal to 12, just print element exist and break. Otherwise, the loop will keep continue. Okay, this is a simple linear search. This is known as linear search. You are taking this element and you are searching it. You are starting from 0th element and you just go ahead till you find that particular element. This is called linear search. How many times the loop will execute? The loop will execute n times. The loop will execute, in the worst case, the loop will execute. Loop will execute how many times? Number of elements in the array.
Yes,
Ma'am.
ma'am.
Right. Okay. So this is how a simple searching will be done. Any question in searching and sorting?
Ma'am,
No,
is
ma'am.
there any ma'am, is
Yes.
there any predefined function to sort like in Python?
In this, no, no. In C, there is no predefined function.
Okay.
Okay. And therefore we are learning C, because here you will actually learn the concepts which are useful for computer science, or base of the computer science, you can say. Okay, so this is how sorting can be done. Now this is what I am talking about, computing mean, median, mod. What you can do is this. We have already seen this program, right? But at that time we don't know sorting, and therefore it was a little bit problem. But now you can use this, a function called bubble sort, right? And you can use this function to sort the array and all, and you can rebuild the program. Okay, you can call this bubble sort and just write whatever concept we have learned about bubble sort inside this function. Okay, so I